Why did I become a Buddhist monk? When a Westerner becomes a Buddhist, they will surely be asked hundreds of times why they decided to follow Buddhism, and thousands of times if they choose to become a Buddhist monk. So this is a fascinating topic for today's lecture, and I will try to briefly outline the reasons why I took refuge in the Buddha and then became a bhikkhu. Most people outside the Western world think that Asia and America are lands of Christianity. Perhaps that was true in the past, but the situation has changed now. Currently in the United States, up to 40% of the total population does not follow any religion. In many European countries, the percentage of people without religious affiliation might be even higher. In the United Kingdom, only about 3% of the population regularly attend church. In Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, that percentage is even lower. And wherever people have a high level of education, the belief in Christianity seems to lose its effectiveness. About a century ago in Western countries, public education was not widespread among the masses. Only those from upper-class backgrounds had the means to attain even a primary education, while the majority of the population was illiterate. It was during that time that religion flourished in Europe and America. Now public and free education for everyone has expanded everywhere, and as the number of literate and reasoning people increases, the number of Christians decreases. At universities, it is very rare to find students or professors who are practicing Christians. Why do the intellectuals of Western countries reject Christianity? The reason is easy to find. Christianity is built on unquestioning faith and teaches people to accept its doctrines unconditionally. People are compelled to believe in God, who created the world in 6 days and made humans, only to later destroy them in a flood. These teachings become too unreasonable for knowledgeable people, which is why most intellectuals do not want to attend church. They not only avoid the church, but also have no interest in exploring Christian doctrines, because those doctrines deny the clear reasoning of humans. I am the only child of a Christian family. I often attended church and helped with services on Sundays. My parents were very devout and actively participated in church activities. But as they grew older, they began to reflect more and realized they had wasted much of their lives on church activities. Since then, my parents became less or not at all interested in Christianity. Both my parents clearly saw that Christianity did not address the profound issues of life. Therefore, when I reached my early 20s, I felt that Christianity no longer played a part in my family life. Most people naturally have a religious belief. They believe in an afterlife where good deeds are rewarded and bad deeds are punished. When I was in my early 20s, I believed this and was eager to find a religion in which I could wholeheartedly place my faith. I met many kind and sincere people within the Christian church, but the theory of eternal hell and the cruelty of God could not convert me. I often paid attention to some religions that taught people to use their reasoning abilities or not to believe anything that contradicted the truth. Fortunately, I did not find such a denial of reason in Buddhism. Indeed, it was not just 3 years ago that I began studying Buddhism, but from the very beginning of exploring the Buddhist teachings, I encountered what I had always been looking for. The teaching that most attracted me and led me to become a Buddhist monk was the Kalama Sutta, where the Buddha advised people not to believe blindly. Most of you probably remember this meaningful passage. Do not believe anything simply because it is said by others, or because it is written in scriptures, or because it is spoken by a revered teacher. But when, after careful observation and analysis, you find that it agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. These words of the Buddha profoundly resonated with me. So about 3 years ago, I decided to become a lay Buddhist. After taking refuge in the Buddha, I connected with many Japanese Buddhist temples in Los Angeles, USA, and some Chinese Buddhists. Fortunately for me, at that time, there were nearly 20 Japanese temples in Los Angeles, most of which organized Sunday school classes and many youth Buddhist groups. I participated in activities for these youth groups and later became a teacher for the Sunday classes. I also attended a Zen meditation class led by a great Zen master. I am very sad to inform you that my Zen master passed away exactly 1 month before I left California for Asia. But this event did not make me abandon my meditation practice. In March 1959, Venerable Sumangalo became a guest at my house for several weeks. I discussed extensively with him about my life and what I felt needed to be done to benefit myself and others. By May, I had decided to dedicate my life to Buddhism, so Venerable Sumangalo accepted me as a novice and later arranged for me to be ordained as a bhikkhu by a great Zen master in Japan on September 9, 1959. I then went to Penang, Malaysia, hoping to contribute more to the developing youth Buddhist organization there. And I thought, if convenient, I would stay to help teach the Sunday classes and also continue my study of Buddhism. Surely, most of my fellow devotees are curious about why I abandoned a life full of pleasures in the world's entertainment capital, Hollywood, to shave my head and live the humble life of a monk. The reason is simple. Everyone seeks happiness. I did not find happiness in my work in Hollywood, even though I lived in a beautiful house, drove a nice car, earned a good salary, and enjoyed all the conveniences. But I realized that the temporary pleasures in Hollywood did not bring me true happiness. I was not fond of those fleeting pleasures. I thought I had higher aspirations than the ordinary life I had been living. I felt I needed to do something meaningful and beneficial, something that could bring happiness to others. Thus, I decided to become a monk, paying particular attention to youth activities and teaching Sunday school classes. As I mentioned earlier, I had been actively involved with Japanese and American Buddhist youth in the United States. Now, I am happy to serve the Chinese Buddhist community. 70 years ago, Japan recognized that Buddhism would perish if Sunday school classes and youth Buddhist groups were not established. So they made significant efforts to organize these, and the results have been very encouraging. Currently, Christianity struggles to attract young Japanese Buddhists in the United States. In San Francisco, where Chinese Buddhist temples have organized youth Buddhist groups and Sunday school classes, the majority of young people are drawn to Buddhism. Around the world, we hear believers complaining that people today are not very interested in religion. This observation is only partially true. In reality, people always think about religion, but they are often dissatisfied with religious teachings. Most intellectuals do not accept any religion that contains doctrines contrary to science. This anti-scientific nature is a characteristic of Christian doctrine. The stories about the creation of the world and humanity in Christianity have become mythological and hard to believe for knowledgeable people. Anyone who reads the Bible and believes its teachings must lack reason. The book titled The Word of God is full of contradictory and mythological ideas, many of which we know to be false and against scientific theories, making it difficult for people today to have faith. In most Western universities, Christian counselors work to keep students loyal to Christianity. This work is challenging because very few students are interested in a religion built entirely on blind faith. They prefer teachings that genuinely respect human reason and do not instill mythological and superstitious beliefs in people. The main reason Christianity has failed in the Western world is that it offers nothing to intellectuals there. We see many Christian missionary groups operating vigorously in Asia and Africa because in Europe, America, and Australia, people are beginning to abandon Christianity. The Christian church is trying to expand its influence in Asia and elsewhere. Those who believe in their own reasoning capabilities can never blindly follow Christianity. Only those who want others to think for them are often captivated by Christian doctrines. Many young people in Asia and other non-European countries mistakenly think that following Christianity is a progressive act suitable for the modern era. A few days ago, I received a letter from a male Buddhist in Penang, currently studying in Australia. This Buddhist stated that most university students, where he is studying, never go to church and do not like Christianity. They consider Christianity an outdated religion, no longer suitable for the modern world. Many Asian Christians studying in Europe and America are surprised to see that these countries are not entirely Christian and that the number of Christians there is decreasing. It is time for humanity to reject a religion built entirely on blind faith. Now, I would like to address some shortcomings within the Buddhist community. It is a grave mistake for any Buddhist speaker to claim that everything is perfect in our Buddhist organization. Unfortunately, many Taoist superstitions have mixed into Buddhism, and certain rituals and customs are maintained primarily for financial gain by some Buddhist entrepreneurs. These actions do not reflect the true teachings of the Buddha. We need more monks who can and will teach the true doctrines to the majority of Buddhist lay people, regardless of age, wealth, or intelligence. It is sad to see that most Asian Buddhists do not understand the correct teachings of the Buddha. If Buddhism does not address this situation, it will suffer the same fate as other religions, gradually declining. We must actively work towards improvement because we do not have much time to wait. If we ignore the current generation of Buddhist youth, the future of Buddhism will be bleak. Most of you are enthusiastic Buddhists who cherish Buddhism and want to see it flourish, so your children can benefit from the Buddha's teachings. The most reliable and effective way to preserve the Dharma is to establish Buddhist associations in every locality. Without organization, Buddhism will weaken. When strong Buddhist groups are established in cities, Buddhism will certainly grow rapidly and be eternally maintained. Even where many temples already exist, it is better to have numerous Buddhist groups to jointly manage Buddhist activities and major celebrations of the Buddha, such as his birth and enlightenment. Since I became a monk, I have seen a significant change in my life. Before encountering Buddhism, I did not grasp the true meaning of life. But now I understand that the suffering or happiness of each individual depends on their thoughts and actions. As a child attending Sunday school in Christianity, I was told that everything that happened to me was due to God's will. Now, understanding the law of karma, I realize that the universe inherently has a fair law of reward and punishment, independent of any deity's will. I can sincerely say that all my views on life have completely changed thanks to the insights I have gained from the Buddha's teachings. I earnestly hope that all of you will strive to deeply understand the Buddha's teachings and diligently apply them in your daily lives. Let us focus on studying Buddhism, a religion full of diligence and enlightenment. The Buddha advised us to thoroughly practice his teachings to realize that they are the truth and will bring happiness to those who live according to them.